friends, it's Amanda here, and today we're trying out some new drugstore makeup. As I often do, I was browsing the new makeup section on the Ulta website, and several things from the brand LA Girl jumped out at me. The first thing that really drew my attention was this eyeshadow palette. These green shimmers drew me in. Once I started clicking around the LA Girl section, I noticed there were several products in this little summer collection that were also marked new. So I picked up a few things from the brand and we're going to test them out today. I just got my Ulta order, so this is my first impression, but I'm going to show you some close-ups, some swatches, and of course you'll get to see everything in action on my face. So we're going to be testing out this eyeshadow palette. Of course, this is the Sunset Days eyeshadow palette in Summer Nights. I also picked up these two blush sticks. I love a cream blush, so I was definitely drawn in by these two shades. This is Summer Crush and Vacay Flush. For highlighter, we have the Glow Envy highlighter wand in the shade Nightlife. This little sponge tip applicator thing I think has been really popular for a couple years. There's the e.l.f. ones. I'm pretty sure there's a Charlotte Tilbury one. I don't have that. I just got some from Essence. I gotta be honest with you, I don't love the little sponge applicator. I would much rather have just like a squeezy tube, but that's just me. I like to be able to mix things and that would make it easier. And this little sponge is just, I don't know. It's not my favorite, but I guess a lot of people like it. So it's just one girl's opinion. Lastly, I got this sheer tint lip balm in the shade Sheer Nude. I love a tinted lip balm. It is my absolute favorite type of lip product, so you know I had to get this too. All these things have a lot of promise for me. I like cream and liquid products for the cheeks, especially cream blush. I love a tinted lip balm. I love green eyeshadow. I'm going into this with the expectation that these products may only perform up to their price point. Let's go back in time to less makeup Amanda. I will be starting off this demo with some foundation, some concealer, and some brow gel on, but that's it. You're gonna see me add everything else. Let's try this stuff on. The first thing we're going to try on is this hydrating sheer tint lip balm. I have the shade Sheer Nude, but it does come in 5 shades total. And just FYI, this lip balm was $6. At first, this was reminding me a lot of the Revlon lip butter. That's kind of a throwback, but it was a tinted lip balm that I loved. So I kind of had that in my brain, and I have to say, compared to that formula, this is a lot more lightweight. It definitely feels like a silky satin, almost like a tint, but it still felt hydrating too. So it was an interesting texture. I really liked it and found it comfortable. Next up, we have the Marble Cream Blush Sticks. One of mine kind of got squished in transit. The pink one called Vacay Flush was a little bit dislodged and kind of got squished in the cap, but it's still sealed. It was still usable, just not quite as pretty as the more corally shade. This one called Summer Crush. There is a third shade, but I just picked up the two that I thought I would like the most. And honestly, this Vacay Flush shade doesn't look this hot pink on the website. It looks a lot more like a nudie rose type of color, so just beware of that. And there's no swatches on the Ulta site. I guess I could have hunted around for them a little bit more. But these are $7 a piece, and it looks, again, from the website, that the third one is more of a berry color, but honestly, the pics are not very representative of the actual shade, so I don't know that I would chance ordering this online again. I would much rather go and see if I could see it in store. I will say though, the formula on this blended so easily. I'm showing you the real-time blend here, not speeding it up so that you can see this was pretty effortless. I'm just using a little stippling brush, which is my favorite method for blending cream blush, and I didn't have to go back over a bunch of times. It didn't disrupt my makeup underneath. Overall, it's pretty much exactly what I'm looking for. Swipes right on, blends right out. And that's what we have here. You will see me layering all three of the cheek products. I'm going to add a little bit of this Glow Envy highlighter wand first, and then I'll add the other blush at the end after I do the highlighter. This highlighter wand is $8 and it does come in three shades. I'm using the shade Nightlife, and I just want to show you a little swatch here before we actually apply it. This is a very thin, lightweight type of formula. It's not a high intensity, mega glow drops type of situation, which I actually prefer. I like this little subtle build up glow from within type of highlighter for me personally, and I like the way that this works together with the cream blush. But if you're looking for that high intensity, very, very metallic, more kind of a thick liquid highlighter, that is not what you're going to get from this. This is a little bit more ethereal. It's definitely not as high impact, but you can see here again, I'm applying in real time. It blended out really nicely. It plays well with the cream blush, and even adding some of that other blush shade, Vacay Flush, on top. None of these really messed each other up, and I did not set my cheeks with any powder. I ended up doing other parts of my face, T-zone and whatnot, but I wore this as is all day, and it definitely did fade a bit, but it hung in there pretty well. I would say on par with all types of other price points as far as cream products on the cheeks. They do tend to wear off quite a bit, and these hung in there, so I was pretty impressed with that. Last but not least, we have the eyeshadow palette. This is the Sunset Days eyeshadow palette in the shade Summer Nights. This was $10, and there is one other color option. It's just like a really orange, peachy neutral type of color story. This is the colorful one of the bunch, so just let that sink in. This palette has 6 matte shades and 6 shimmer shades. I do think that the mattes are more impressive pigmentation-wise than the shimmers, with the exception of that gold shimmer shade right in the middle. That one definitely has a decidedly thicker, more foily metallic texture, and you can tell even just touching the shadows that that one is a bit of a different formula. As far as the shimmers go, it's really the most impressive for me. The mattes outperformed the shimmers in my experience today in both application and wear time. The matte shades in this palette are velvety soft and surprisingly pigmented. When I first started applying this shade number 1 to this crease area, I was expecting to have to go back over and over again to get any sort of impact, and I was pleasantly surprised that I didn't need to do a ton of work and layering and blending to get these mattes to work out for me. And I just want to mention the shadows in this palette do not have any shade names at all, but on the back of the palette, they do have numbers listed. So I'm just putting the number of the shade I'm using down in the corner in case you have this palette or you're just curious which ones I'm using. That's what that little number is. Now's the time in the look when I'm sort of testing this palette's chops for real because I'm layering a darker color on the outer half of my lid, and then I'm going to go back with the light shade and blend the edges. This is sort of a make or break time for me in an eye look because I want to see what happens. Does this layering blend away the shade? Do we start getting patchiness? Does it start to look muddy or weird? And I'm happy to say that I think this did pretty well for me. The application overall was very, very easy. I didn't feel like I had to do, again, a ton of work. I didn't need special bases and wet brushes and all that stuff. Just my typical application routine that I always do worked out well for this palette. Now, I'm not getting a super high impact with this lighter green shimmer, and I just was hoping for something brighter, especially because those green shades are really carrying the team as far as interest for this palette. So I wish that those were a little bit more impressive, impactful.
I guess not everybody wants a super metallic foiled green lid all the time, but I do. So here we are. I also wanted to test the green shimmers with a brush application since I didn't go through a whole palette review with brush swatches and all that stuff. I decided to take a little bit of shade number 5 and apply it to my lower lash line with a brush. And this did take a lot of work. It did take a lot of building and layering to get that green to show up on the lower lash line. So this is definitely best applied either with a fingertip, maybe do a sponge tip applicator or a dampened brush if you are looking for a high impact type of look from this shadow. Using a tinted base could really help in this arena too. That's just not a step I typically do in my personal day-to-day eyeshadow looks. Lastly, I just curled my lashes. I added some Maybelline Sky High mascara, and this is the finished look. Despite having some complaints about the shimmer formulas, I do think that this look turned out really nice. I was happy to wear it. I think that it looks super cute. I'm very impressed by the smokiness and the blend I was able to get from the matte shadows, and I would say it performed about to my standards above in the mattes and a little bit of a letdown with those green shimmers that I was so drawn towards. I'm going to spoil it a bit for future Amanda, who's going to come back and talk to you, but the shimmers did also wear off pretty quickly, as did the mattes, but the shimmers were definitely the main offender for lack of wear time. Some hits, some misses, but not my worst makeup day by any means.
Ultimately, I like the way my makeup turned out, and that's always the number one main thing for me. I like the little fresh glow that I have. My lips feel super comfortable and hydrated, and bonus, this lip balm smells really good. It's a super fruity scent, which I like. The eyeshadow is about what I expected, so I'm not blown away by the shimmers, but in general, it performed pretty well. It looks pretty good. I doubt that this eye look will last me all day. I do think that the shimmer on the lids will start to wear off. I can just kind of anticipate that based on the feel of it and how it applied. But I do think it looks pretty cute. I really like the color of the shimmers. I think some of the mattes are a little bit redundant. I do think we could have switched out two of these brown matte shades because I think these two are too similar and these two are too similar. So I would have liked to see maybe a green matte or just something to shake the color story up a little bit. But in general, I would say this performed about how I expected, or maybe even slightly better, especially because the mattes are very smooth and silky feeling. So I think that if this appeals to you and you're not looking for a super in your face metallic shade, because I know not everybody is. Just because I like a really foily metallic lid doesn't mean that this is bad. And I will say this gold shadow is impressive. It's definitely a lot softer and more opaque feeling, and it has a lot more of that bright metallic sheen that I personally prefer. Not terrible, not amazing, but definitely pretty okay. I feel the same way about this highlighter wand. It looks good on my skin. I actually feel like formula-wise, I am getting along with this better than I did with the eyeshadow palette. It's just that sponge tip applicator that makes me a little bit less excited about this. If we were ranking which products am I most excited to go back to tomorrow, these would be at the bottom of that list. Still decent, just not amazing. Now, these products I would be excited to go back to tomorrow, especially this Summer Crush shade. I do prefer it to the more pinky one. That's just a color preference. I am definitely more drawn towards a coral blush than a pink blush, but these blended really nicely. I think they look cute. They look good with the highlighter. And I am pretty much just always down for a cream blush. So I think it makes sense that my favorite types of products are the ones that I see myself going back to more often. This is definitely my favorite thing that I tried today. I love the color. It's super comfortable. It feels so thin on my lips. Like, you can tell it's not a super shiny finish. It has more of a satin finish, but it still feels hydrating, and it's almost like there's nothing on my lips. It's just really comfortable. And I like the super fruity smell. This is a contender for throw in the purse type of lip color, and that is a high honor. If you are somebody who carries around lip colors, you know, you know that that's a high honor. I'd love to hear what you think about the things I tried on today. Have you tried any of these? Do you have a different ranking of your favorites? I always love to hear what you think about things too, so make sure you leave all your thoughts down in the comments below. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye! And of course, you'll get to see everything in action on my face. Why did I do that? Why would you do it in that order? Ugh. That's not you, it's me. Why did I say it like that? I'm going into this. I don't, what, why? Do you ever annoy yourself? I think my brain stopped working for a second. Okay. My dog's snoring. In case you were wondering, yes, I am wearing my Twilight t-shirt again because I'm an adult. And I'm wearing my really cute little neutral fall leaf earrings because they go with everything. Oh, that glow is really nice. Okay, casually sweaty is in the building. I love it. I love to see it. Ooh, I think I'm gonna make a really big, beautiful salad. I have some pear and some walnut and some cheese and a little vinaigrette, and I think that sounds so good. I got some spring mix. I need to use it up. You know, it goes bad so quickly. Anyway, what are you guys having? What are you making for dinner? Let me know so that I can get some recipe ideas. And I hope that you have a magical, wonderful day. And I hope that you know that you are a spicy little chicken nugget. And I love your face. Okay, bye.